Good morning. Welcome to Unity Center of Pittsburgh on this February 20th Sunday. What's unity about? We're about spirituality that has to do with making choices in our minds that God. Welcome to Unity Center of Pittsburgh on this February 20th Sunday. What's unity about? We're about spirituality. Well, choices about God, the God of Spirit, however we want to call this presence, that this God is for us, and most importantly, in us, as us. We've got a wonderful vision. We envision a spiritually awakened world flowing with divine love, that love that's always ours to give. And then we have a mission that we're an inclusive, loving community dedicated to teach, inspire, and practice what? Positive spiritual living. So that's what we're about. And this wonderful song coming about Mariko and Brandon, I Dreamed of Rain, followed by, after an opening prayer of Grace Flows Down.
It's safe to use the mic now.
Dreamed of
open up our hearts to every good thing and gift that's for us today. Let's focus our hearts and mind, and whatever little voice we might hear, song, a word, something that lifts, gives us a message and guides us. And so it is. And one of my favorites, Grace Flows Down. Actually, it is my favorite, but... Isn't that a welcome change from the traditional that saved a wretch like me? Whew. Wow. You know, we always welcome visitors, and I understand you're here for the first time. Could you be so kind as to just introduce yourself, your first name, where you're from?
Yes, I'm Erin, and I'm from South Carolina, Philadelphia, and I'm a unity minister.
Oh. Are you here for a visit or?
For a visit.
Okay, great. I didn't think there's anybody else. No, great, okay. Well, we love to light the Christ candle because we declare it. And oftentimes, if people who have never been to Unity aren't experienced, we say we're not talking about a Jesus Christ, but the Christ consciousness. Isn't that powerful that we all have at any moment, always there and available? And I know if you're like me, sometimes you get caught up in thinking, you know, you're just, oh, wait a minute, I have a Christ consciousness. Hello, open up to that. And so that's really what it is, a continually opening up to this Christ consciousness. It's easy as lighting a candle, of which sometimes you need matches, and that's a quarter of one with anybody got it? They're underneath here? Yep. Voila. talking about a church that's prepared. And let's read these incredible principles that I think are just so well thought out and are so true. God is the source and creator of all. There is no other enduring power. God is good and present everywhere. We're spiritual beings created in God's image. The Spirit of God lives within each person. Therefore, all people are inherently good. We create our life experiences through our way of thinking. Through prayer and meditation, we increase our conscious contact with God, bringing forth love, wisdom, health, prosperity, and everything good. And knowledge of these spiritual principles is not enough. We must live them. And then another beautiful song, State and Spirit. You're welcome to move around, too.
Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All day long I keep my mind stayed on spirit. All day long I keep my mind stayed on spirit. All day long I keep my mind stayed on spirit. Ooh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Well, I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind, oh, stayed on spirit. I'm walking and talking with my mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. You ought to wake up in the morning with your mind stayed on spirit. You ought to wake up in the morning with your mind, oh, stayed on spirit. You ought to wake up in the morning with your mind stayed on spirit. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Isn't music an amazing gift? Just a little bit of music, and not can it does, just kind of lift you up. And if only Marika would have a little more enthusiasm when she sings, though. Isn't that great when she does that? It's just really lifts your spirit. Our daily word reading today is entitled Inspiration. I'm grateful to those who inspire me. I admire and respect the sacred calling and work of innovative and groundbreaking thinkers and leaders. The work they have done to forge new paths and lead humanity in new directions inspires me. I've heard inspiration described as the breath of God, an inner quickening. This quickening is mine as I forge new paths and boldly journey forward, creating my life anew. To keep inspiration flowing, I make time to rest in contemplative stillness. I begin each day with a prayer for a receptive mind and heart. I pray for the courage and clarity to release my rigid expectations. I live in a state of gratitude and the inspiration that flows from God and the opportunity to share it. And from Genesis chapter 2, then the Lord formed man from the dust of the ground and breathed into, I don't like the man. Then the Lord God formed humankind from the dust of the ground and breathed into both nostrils the breath of life, and humans became a living being. Sorry, once we got into that, I couldn't get away from it, after all. And our affirmation, I'm grateful to those who inspire me, 3 times. I am grateful to those who inspire me. I am grateful to those who inspire me. I am grateful to those who inspire me. You know, every week we bless children, and gosh, I hope we can get them back soon. We bless children in our lives and their spirits. They continually awaken us and remind us of receptivity. We bless them, the ones in our lives, and those we think of, those we encounter, and give them blessing and hope. And so it is. And in a moment or so, we're going to be singing in this very room. And gosh, Bill Withers, didn't he pass away recently, if I recall?
I think it was in 2020.
Because it's been that long, huh? But one of the great, great songs, and which I love about Unity here, is we love to take those popular songs, the spirituality of which is, at least to me, better than traditional hymns, which tend to be so religious and declaring all this truth, as opposed to coming out of the everyday life of where we truly have our ups and downs. So let's prepare our hearts for these 2 songs. Open ourselves to Spirit. The words and the tones, let them take us, move us to a good place, a better place. Help us to feel gratitude, enjoyment, joy, love. And so it is, in this very room.
Cable trouble, sorry. In this very room, there's quite enough love for all of us. And in this very room, there's quite enough joy for all of us. And there's quite enough hope and quite enough power to chase away any gloom. For Spirit, yes, Spirit is in this very room. Sometimes in our lives, we all have pain, we all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need me, brother, when you need a hand, 'cause we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. You just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. Oh, we all need somebody to lean on. If there is a load you have to bear, you can carry. You know I'm right up that road. I'll share your load if you just call me. Call me if you need a friend. Call me, please, please, please. Call me, call me, I said, call me.
How many think that ought to be recorded? Seriously? No, I meant, you know. Well, I'm not sure I have any of that power, but because, usually you hear recordings done in the same way. Well, Bill Withers did it better, but Bill Withers never did that. And that really, sometimes when you hear a new expression, it's beautiful, isn't it? Well, normally we do a meditation, but Patti, Perhacs, who's be giving our message in a moment, merging with the Great I Am, is going to have a meditation included. So Patti, who we share the same birthday, coming up in a few weeks, although I'm a few years older. Patti Perhacs.
Yes, another birthday. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And Brandon and Marika, talking about the Great I Am, I think you definitely let that power flow through you. It was fabulous. Again, thank you. And for those who may have missed service last week, and it is recorded on YouTube, so you can go and enjoy it. Mariko did a version of Way Over Yonder that was through the roof. So check that out if you care to. And again, thank you. So, I know I'm usually have a lot of levity, but today I think I'm going to be a little bit more serious as we look to bring forth a message on a deeper level on the I Am, and thinking about how we move in practical ways as we do at Unity, from awakened seeker to merging with that creative force, that one power, that great I Am, Spirit of God. At the end of the message, we will have a guided meditation, and I want you to know that everything I'm presenting today and we're bringing forth today is in that realization of oneness as taught and achieved by Jesus, who became the Christ, expressing that Christ consciousness, and not only Jesus, but all the ascended ones. And it's a reminder that it's not something that we aren't able to do. It is indeed something we are able to do, and that we only have to put forth a little bit of effort and, of course, that intention to reach those highest heights. Before we dig in, I do want to recognize 3 texts that inspired and inform, in some degrees, our message. First and foremost, the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, as penned, channeled, inspired by, through Charles Fillmore. And that's where we'll spend some of the meat of discussion on I Am. But also 2 books that I turn to probably every year, certainly the last few years, a lot more often as I work with myself to fully merge with the I Am. And it is the I Am Disclosure, in case you're interested in checking out Volume 3. There's actually 13 volumes, but I tend to just keep picking up Volume 3. It's Ascended Master Saint Germain and his full comprehension and explanation of the I Am consciousness. And that was penned through Godfrey Ray King. The other book is The Inner Door, and it's channeled dissertations from Ascended Masters. And again, there's chapters with Saint Germain, and I am drawn to him. And I think we probably are all, whether knowing or unknowingly, because I believe his energy and his power of transformation is very active within the earth plane. I believe he works very diligently with us here on this earth. And I also want to give one shout out to Wayne Dyer. He has an amazing YouTube video. It's called I Am That I Am, and there's a little beginning where he talks a little bit about the I Am, but more so it's the music, and it's the music that was developed through other, I will call master teachers here on earth, or such as James Twyman, who've done lots of work to bring forth musical expressions of the great I Am. And the music in this YouTube's video, the audio portion of it, actually is to touch us in ways that help us lift up from our physical to our spiritual body and merge with God. And it's a really wonderful musical bed to meditate to, and I can tell you just over the last week using it, I have found that I let go a whole lot more. So I wanted to share that with you because, we're all on the path and we're all looking, I believe, to go more deeply into that God, or the God above and around us. So like me, I believe you've opened your heart and your mind to understanding that there is indeed something greater than us. Not just within us, but outside of us. Sometimes it feels out of reach. Sometimes it feels so much greater than us that we can't really comprehend how do we become that Christ consciousness? How do we become one with God? And perhaps you, like me, feel that knocking at the door, the knocking at your heart to open more fully. You've studied, you've read books, you've perhaps, taken yourself through different trainings and courses, and you've done all that, and it's now, okay, how do I take this to the next level? How do I ascend in ways I haven't even imagined for myself because I didn't think I was capable? Saint Germain informs us that our dedication to our ascension will lead us to our ability to interact with the great I Am, which is the greatest frequency of yourself. So let's start at the beginning, and literally the beginning, with the great I Am, which simply defined, of course, is the name of God, the creative force which gave light to the universe. Of course, in the Torah, it's through Hebrew translations. We have to remember this, the Bible was translated many times, but the Hebrew translation is I am that I am. I am being the ascended light, that light that fills all hearts. And that I am is us, the individual rays of that light. And if you'll take a moment and think through your spiritual eye, if you will, imagine with me, okay? You can close your eyes if you care to, but imagine with me the idea of a great light shining forth high above you, very high above you, and it sits in an indigo sky, indigo blue sky. And maybe you think of it as a sun or an orb of light. Nonetheless, think of that as the God, that I am presence. It's a big flame, and each of this flame sends out individual rays of light, and those individual rays of light are us. We are those manifestations, those individual flames of light that look and feel, if you imagine, the colors, the brightness, the warmth, the heat of a flame, of a light. They are what create us. That is what is available to us through that higher consciousness, that spiritual body that we'll talk about. This is how we connect to that higher self. This is our I am present. It's our God self. And this is how we stay one with our Creator, because we are indeed the manifestation of the great I am. As unique rays of light that's always present to us, we are still in this physical form, this physical density, and therefore we're not always connected, as I think we'll all attest to our higher self, as much as we might like to be. Consciously we're aware, and maybe even more so, you are dedicated to your I am presence and being one, but probably more so than not, we are not connected on a conscious level, on a spiritual level. As defined in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary, when we use or state I am, we link ourselves, and that's the word that Fillmore uses, we link ourselves with the outer or conscious union with the Father, with spirit, with abiding life, with wisdom, love, peace, strength, that infinite intelligence, the truth, what we refer to as the kingdom, the gifts of heaven. The ponderance of power, of course, is with the spiritual. It's only in this densest form of man, of humankind, that we bring upon us that earthly perspective that often hides from us. As we put that veil over our eyes, that spiritual force that's always there. And we end up often, or at times, denying that presence in the way such that we are fearful, in the way that we don't feel that mighty power within us. But God always tells us, behold, because as Jesus taught, the mountain is before us, we have only to go to that mountain. And that's where that exaltation of powerful forces, of that light and that life energy flows to us and around about us from that spiritual I am. So let's just pause here, because as we say, that I am links ourselves to that outer, the greater sun or light of God. So I ask you, how conscious are you of your use of the word I am, or words I am? And when you say these words, do you realize that you are absolutely, positively calling on that higher force? Do you see these words as they are, which is a potent substance of creation? Possibly not. Think about some of the things you say that cancel out all that you are. I'm not smart enough. That's when we deny our higher intelligence. When we tell ourselves we're not capable, we deny the power of God within us. I think you get my point, on, and we can probably think of some things we say to ourselves in our self-talk or have that we might want to rethink. Because when we use this creative substance, this creative power, we always want it to be followed by a positive statement. And if it isn't, we probably want to correct our thinking. Because otherwise we're putting a negative force. It's still a force, it's still a God force, but we're putting negativity into it when we deny our intelligence, when we deny our capabilities, when we deny, basically, our inheritance as a child of God. And I don't think any of us want to do that. So we have to progress consciously, shifting our awareness of our language and knowing the truth of who we are, which we say when we espouse our unity principles, that I am invoking that will of God. I am evoking that power of God. I am should become our mantra. I am that I am should be what we take into our meditations, if you think about it. And what I've been using, and we'll share with you and see, you can try it on and see how it fits for you, is I like to use, I am the resurrection of the light. Isn't that what Jesus said? Aren't we to do as Jesus did? Aren't we developing and blossoming our full, entire consciousness of the Christ? So if we use as our terminology, I am that I am, and we think that and we bring that to our meditations, our prayers, our spoken word, and then fully bring that I am the resurrection of the light, we are continuing to call upon ourself, that Christ center within us, as we lift ourselves from this physical form into that spiritual world of one and of mergement with God. So let's go on and talk a little bit more deeply about the construct of man in the relationship to the I am. As in our guided meditation, we illustrate God as the sun or this big light. And Fillmore explains that I am is our spiritual self, and he distinguishes it from the physical self. He explains it and clarifies that there's two selves. There's the physical and there's the spiritual. One, the spiritual, is governed by God, and the other one is our own personal will. And I think we're clearly aware of our own personal will. Think about all the times that we've denied ourselves the bliss of meditation and decided to go to bed, or decided to jump into our day and not take time to contemplate all that we are. Not to take time to invoke God into our life because we're busy. So our physical form is often taking on our own form and our own destiny without bringing to us, through us, that spiritual light. Fillmore teaches that Christ is the scriptural name for the spiritual I am. Jesus called I am the Father, which helps us to conceive in our own mind in in physical human terms, Father as a relationship to us, right? He suggests that this relationship is us as a child, and as we said in our illustration earlier, we are that manifestation, or child, if you choose those terms, of God. We are a ray of light from the source, the ultimate almighty source. We must constantly unify our physical and our spiritual and these realms, bringing them together into our physical and our spiritual consciousness, because it's always there in the spirit. We call it within. Yes, it's within, but it's without, and we need to bring both of those together. And Fillmore says that's how we preserve our oneness with creation. Unification is divine will. It is our path of self-realization, which is our birthing forth our Christ consciousness. So there is a path of self-realization. We talk about it in our principles, not directly, but through that recognition that we create our world, that we are constantly creating our world. So that's the construct of man and our two bodies, our physical and our spiritual body, and our relationship with the Almighty I Am, with the Source, with that creation. I'd like to just pause there for 1 second and ask you to ask yourself, what do you think you need to do to become self-realized? And how do you merge with the great I Am? Have you consciously asked for that? We had a song earlier today that said that we should ask for what we want. I dreamed of rain, I asked for rain, and the rain came. It's the same idea. And Mac, if you're listening, can you bring our slide up that we have for service today? So I actually have it on my phone as well, so I can see it because it's really hard to see back there. It's very small. But if you just bring your focus, and I know there's a lot on this slide, to the center of the slide, the illustration, and you see ourselves, humanity, at the bottom, and we recognize that we're all on our path of awakening. And then when we think about what we just talked about, our physical body and our spiritual body, we connect to that. We connect to that through our imagination, our spiritual eye, also referred to in the East as the third eye. And we connect to that higher power, that spiritual matter that's all around about us. And through that conscious awareness and conscious mergement and desire, we connect with that great I am. So we start with that awakening, that self-awareness, that there is more to us than meets the eye. And then we have to learn where we want to put our prioritizations, what's most important to us. Yogananda said, everything else can wait, but your search for God cannot. And I think since you're here, you probably believe that as well. So if we want to prioritize oneness, we have to think about, not that we give things up, but that we make time for that in our routines, and we hold it just as important as meditation and our constant contact and that consciousness, that half hour, that 45 minutes, however long you meditate, for your growth, for your merging, your ascension, for actually bringing forth that Christ consciousness. You say you want it, how badly do you want it? But our path to self-realization requires us to do some work on ourselves, does it not? We are all born into different experiences throughout this country and the world. I think about those individuals in third world countries who spend their days just trying to stay alive and get clean water and food. And oh, by the way, that happens here in the United States too, more so than we might realize or want to admit. But we all know, we hear the data that people's incomes are dropping, and we have more poor in this country than we've ever had. The middle class is shrinking. So I feel for those people, as I know you do too, those individuals, and perhaps we are or were or have those experiences, and we have to think about that power of God within them, and we know that we can all come through this together. And that's where we prioritize not just the small self, but the greater self. That's where we think about not just what's good for this country, but what's good for the world. That's where we confront our biases, confront the old ways of doing things. Albert Einstein said something to the effect of, you can't find solutions if you keep using the same thoughts and the same tools or attitudes that you created the first solution with that isn't working. So we have to think new and differently. We have to innovate. We have to innovate within ourselves, and maybe a little innovation and retooling within our own personal day and how we go about it in order to make more time for merging and dedicating. In this process, we confront our fears. We learn to develop trust in the unseen. Some people may be listening to this and thinking, what are you talking about, the unseen? Learn to trust it. You'll feel it. You'll feel that contact within the unseen. That's where our faith lies, does it not? Our faith that God is real. And then we continue to unfold in our path of self-realization, in our path to mergement of the I am, to love unconditionally as we bring forth that Christ consciousness, as we bring forth that divinity within us, as we learn how to work with the laws of manifestation. Marianne did a tremendous message a couple of weeks ago on the laws or the practice of prosperity, of abundance, and what steps to take and how we work with gratitude, how we work with our spoken word, and many other things. It's done really well. I encourage you to go back and re-listen to it if you've heard it once, and if you haven't listened to it, to bring that forth in your mind as you work with God. So the kingdom is abundant, and God always provides, but only if we believe that. not in degrees, but fully. And again, that's where the trust in the unseen and the faith comes in. So we develop our capabilities, and Unity teaches of the 12 powers, and we learn how to use those capabilities, and it's, there's plenty of great information through Unity and the books of the Fillmores to help us to understand that, so we can bring that spiritual man, that spiritual person forward and lift the veil, and let that full Christ consciousness flow from us. Thank you, Mac, for that slide. So that's the goals of our manifestation. Those are the steps we take in order to work with us. If you think of ourselves, I like to think of myself as putty or clay, to help mold us into that beautiful light that we know we are, that beautiful child, that manifestation of God, that beautiful flame of light that shines ever so brightly. In this life, we have many experiences, but ultimately we want to open our hearts. We want to grow. We want to be in service. We want to bring forth all of that consciousness of the I Am, that super consciousness of the I Am, to everything we do. We want to prioritize our days and our time to help those who need help, not to judge them, not to see them as less than us, but to recognize where they are. And self-assuredly, we were all probably there at some point in time, if not this lifetime, I believe others. We all have experiences. We have to live and learn to grow. So think about that. Think about how you merge with the great I Am, both in the physical and in the spiritual. Cultivate within you that desire to grow. Don't become complacent or satisfied where you are. Challenge yourself. And it's okay, and I recognize we all have the ebb and flow of our zeal. Sometimes it wanes a bit, and that's okay. But recognize where you are and bring it back forth. Energize yourself when needed through your power centers. Use your mental acuity to help you understand the text, the information, and to cultivate that desire to ascend to the highest spiritual peaks available. So that's what we're talking about when we think about how do I merge with the great I Am? How do I move from seeker to oneness? It's a lot of content. I've gone over a lot of information. Happy to talk to anybody about it after service. But just know that the capabilities are all there within you. It's really just bringing that forth, that intention, because we know where we focus our mind, where we focus our thought, that is what we create. So let us now take ourselves into meditation. Please sit upright in your seats. And cross your legs, feet flat on the floor. And begin to relax as we open to the idea of receiving and merging with the great I Am. Let us let go of any resistance and let us come in faith as the child, as the ray of light of the Most High. For we are born in light. As you close your eyes, you might begin to notice your breath in your chest filling with air. And with each breath, allow yourself to relax your body even more. And if you find yourself having difficulty relaxing or letting go of the mental mind as you evoke and embrace the spiritual self, I always like to encourage 3 breaths where you exhale, a double exhalation. And you will find if you work with that practice, it does relax your body and your mind more. And let us focus our sight at that imagination center above the bridge of the nose as we fully focus our power and affirm our sole purpose of complete unification, one with God, that mighty I Am presence. Let us sit, let us meditate as the masters have. Let us welcome our elder brother Jesus. Imagine in your mind's eye that ray of light shining down, as you have done so many times before, shining down upon you and connecting to you, and as if you are reaching up through your mind's eye and merging with this light. Affirm in your heart, I am that I am. I am that I am. I am divine love. I am that I am. I am peace. I am that I am. I am light. I am that I am. I am the Christ, the child of God. I am that I am. I am the resurrection and the light. I am that I am. Now through this ray of light, you see before you a tall staircase. It's broad and it's unfolding before you. The steps are lined with red carpet, and the air is warm and light, and you easily ascend one step at a time up this staircase. And as you ascend up the staircase, you find yourself letting go even more as you merge more fully with that light that just surrounds you, encompasses you, enfolds you. As you go deeper, as you merge with that spiritual dimension, with that light of God, you may feel a gentle smile on your face as you feel this merging, as you open your heart with that one divine light of love. Feel the presence. Feel the light. And you hear a voice say, I am that I am. Continue to breathe comfortably in this state of oneness. Stay with that energy. Stay with that I am presence. And you may feel that presence shining forth. You may feel love like you've never felt before. You may become aware of your heart expanding with divine love. I leave you here now. Be still and know, I am. Breathe deeply. In the light of the great I am. Know your body fills with light. And put forth healing, balance, harmony, and wholeness within the cells of your physical. And as one in the spiritual, we feel the bliss, the peace of the great Creator. And know, I am that I am. Now give thanks. And when you are ready, bring yourself back to this room. With the understanding that you are cultivating that full expression of the highest consciousness, that Christ consciousness, that spiritual perfection. And you are indeed merging with the I am. So it is. I am that I am. I give thanks for this opportunity today to share my passion and my inspiration and my path to self-realization. You are gifts to me, and certainly so is the Unity Center of Pittsburgh. I give thanks for the divine mind that flows through me. Om Shanti, peace.
You began with saying this, I am stupid or I am this or that. I've discovered that it's rarely thought out, but boy, is it felt. Sometimes feelings that we have in situations that if we wrote those feelings out, so that's an area where I think I'm going to work on. All right, Philip, describe those feelings. What are you saying about yourself right now? Because boy, until we become aware of it, there's always a bee in the way. And I am. And the whole idea of prosperous, that is a way of thinking, isn't it? It's, Patti mentioned Marianne's message was so important that way. So our giving is an expression of our consciousness. And whether we do it through online, which is always a nice way, or here, we go through this way of holding our offering in our hand and saying, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. We take the offering, and in a moment, Spirit is in this place. Gosh, in this very room, Spirit in this place, I see a theme. What's more important is when we leave this place, Spirit is always with us.
We have come together as a family. We have come here as we are. We have come with hearts wide open. We have gathered here in love. Yeah. Spirit is in this. Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this. affirm our life is sacred. We declare that peace is here, right here. 'Cause Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. We'll raise a roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. Let's sing it one more time. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Oh, Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this, Spirit is in this place. We'll raise a roof with shouts of praise. Spirit is in this place. Spirit is in this place.
Wow. Thank you so much. And our closing prayer, which is really an affirmation with I am. Let's say it. The light of God surrounds me. I am light. The love of God enfolds me. I am love. The power of God protects me. I am power. The presence of God watches over me. I am presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Thanks.